All right, so charging for estimates. I used to not do it. I do it now because for one, I can. Two, I don't need the work. And three, I found that I need to be compensated for my time regardless of what it is. So like in the thumbnail, that is a check for an estimate. Granted, it's a large estimate. It's about $180,000. I charge 1%. Anything over $50,000 is 1%. And anything up to $20,000 is $250 for the estimate. And anything from $20,000 to $50,000 is $500. So I basically just let them know, hey, this is the price, detailed estimate, and I'll maybe in the Patreon page, I'll put down what my actual invoice says for it, and the price of the estimate is credited if you actually hire us, me, and that's how we go through it. So this I had two estimates this week. One for $250. It's probably going to be between $10,000 and $20,000 kitchen job. And the other one is a new addition, like a mother-in-law suite, basically, an in-law addition. And it's on a poured slab, but it's also got a crawl space, obviously. And they actually had plans, so that's why I kind of gave them a ballpark. They asked me, I was like, hey, ballparking, you know, they wanted a couple extra things, but it's about $260 a square foot, 700 square feet. And it was between, you know, $180,000 to $240,000, depending on how crazy they got with materials and everything. So I charge them 1% of $180,000. I'll give them a detailed estimate. I've got to go to the township. It's a solid day's worth of work for me to actually get numbers together, because, you know, I got to look at the architect's plans, find, you know, how many, you know, I got to price out all the beams. It's like, it's a legit estimate. Like, I can kind of go through it line by line and see my cost. I can do a cost evaluation on it, and we go from there. It's including relocating a 2-car garage door from, like, say, like the east side to the north side of the house of the garage, and pouring a new driveway as well. So there's a lot of moving parts to it, but at the same time, I mean, who's gonna actually do that work for an estimate, for a free estimate? I absolutely would not. Don't want that. I don't want that job. If that's what they're looking for, I don't want it. And how it went is, we'll call the customer Joe. Say, hey Joe, this is how it's gonna roll. I can give you a ballpark price and make sure it's in your budget. After that, for this size of project, we charge 1% of the average price of the project to give you a detailed estimate. From that estimate, you're gonna get HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and building pricing, and as well as permits as well. I have to pay to the township to actually tell me how much they're gonna charge me for this project. And basically kind of almost pulling the permit, but not quite pulling the permit kind of thing. So that's in that township anyway. Some townships probably do it for free, who knows, but that's basically it. Now the other estimate that I did this week, you know, they're kind of far away, about a 40-minute drive for me, so round trip an hour and 20 minutes, give or take, with traffic. And, you know, they sent me a couple pictures. I was like, hey, this is between probably $12,000 and $20,000, depending on how crazy you want to get with, you know, there's only a couple cabinets they're replacing, painting some cabinets, and installing an island and a little bit of electrical work. But I was like, if you want an actual detailed estimate, it's $250. I'll come down there and meet with you, take my measurements, and then within a week or two, you'll get your estimate. And I let them know, you know, I'm booked out pretty far, so neither of these are going to be this year. So, and I think it's October now. We're going to be October soon, and yeah. So, I mean, we got what, 3 months left of this, because it's almost, yeah, October, November, yeah. So we got 3 months. So that's how I charge for estimates. Now I do, you know, remote estimates. Like the lady called me today, or was it yesterday? She wanted, you know, she explained she wanted her one bathroom and a hallway tiled, and she wanted me to come out. I was like, well, tell me how many square footage, you know, the average. I can't come out, I can't justify coming out to you just to give you an estimate for a $500 tile job kind of thing. So she told me, I was like, you know, it's between, you know, it was less than 100 square feet of actual tile. So without the actual finishing products, it's, you know, it's probably about $2,000, $2,500, depending on what, if we've run into any issues or anything like that. And she was like, oh, that's outstanding. Let me get my, you know, I'll get my finished products, you know, picked out, and I'll give you a call back. So, you know, it cost me maybe, you know, 3 to 5 minutes of my time on the phone. she was happy, and I didn't have to waste my time going to a job site that, you know, she actually didn't, you know, she didn't know how much it was going to cost, but I could tell that, you know, it was about in her area price range just by her reaction. You know, it's not like a, oh, or like a, oh, really? Or it was just like, oh, okay, you know, kind of thing. So it is what it is. That's how I price. That's how I charge for estimates. I'm just upfront with it. And I had customers, like, you know, one guy wanted a bathroom remodel. And I was like, hey, you know, you're between 10 and 20,000, depending on, you might even go over 20,000. So it's, you know, we'll call it $250 for me to come out. It was in Waterford, so it's about 10 minutes away from me, 15 minutes away from me. And he's like, oh, nobody else charges for estimates. And, you know, I don't understand, you know, just for an estimate, you know, it's just an estimate. It's just an estimate. I'm like, well, it's just an estimate, but it's going to take a lot of time out of my day to come there, write up an estimate, you know, meet with you, and basically come home and actually go into my office / basement / dungeon to actually go through my numbers and check it out. So I can ballpark it. If that's within your ballpark, then we can go ahead and move forward with the paid estimate. You know what you're getting. That's actually approved. You know, it's going to be within that price range, providing any change orders. But I mean, if that's how you weed out the tire kickers, and obviously he didn't hire me, it's fantastic. I don't need that work. And then I've had a you know, conversation with a prior customer, and he's like, I would never pay for an estimate. And then, but he's also talking about, you know, having me do some work in his kitchen, and then basic and fireplace mantles, and, you know, stonework to his ceiling in his great room kind of thing. I'm like, well, I'm not coming, you know, if you want, you know, an estimate, if you want me to come out here and give you an estimate, you're gonna have to pay me to come out here and give you an estimate. He's like, oh no, you come out, you know, he didn't. And I was, you know, stone cold with him. I was like, no, that's absolutely. He's like, well, you know, I can give you a ballpark. So if that ballpark is within your budget, then why wouldn't you pay for my time? And then he's like, well, I just don't want to pay for, you know, he didn't have that. He's like, I just want to pay for an estimate. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You don't have to have my estimate. So it's, you know, we were both laughing about it back, but, you know, I'm gonna be doing his kitchen, which I gave him an estimate without, you know, going to his house, and went to his house, signed a contract, took, you know, just, it is what it is. So that's all I got about you know, estimates. And I do not charge every estimate, because if it's on my way home, if it's like 5 minutes away from my house, I'll just take care of it, you know, go there real quick, stop, hey, no problem. But, you know, I'm not putting myself through the ringer or doing anything like that, because my time is way too valuable. If I have a free hour to do whatever I want to, it's usually, you know, booked up with something with this business, or, you know, getting ahead on some other project. So I really don't have much free time. So that's how I go through charging for estimates, and that's how I weed out people like, hey, no problem, this is your ballpark. And now I've been in business long enough where I know my square footage for laying flooring tile. I know my square footage. I know a ballpark for, you know, kitchens and stuff like that. I know ballparks for bathrooms. I know ballparks for flooring. You know, I can tell, like, okay, you know, your siding for this, or, you know, putting a wall up here is going to be roughly around here. Now, is there a pain in the butt factor for, you know, second or third story or basement? Do they have dogs that are always on you, kind of thing? So those prices are always fluid, but I can give ballpark estimates pretty much anything really relatively soon over the phone, with a couple pictures and some square footage and a little bit of information on the customer side. So that's what I offer for free. Everything, if you want me on site, got to pay for the time, right? So like and subscribe, you guys. I'll see you in the next video. I appreciate it. We'll get back to it.